Dear students, so in this video we would be covering the remaining concepts and tips and tricks that one must be aware before he can say that yes, you are done with the entire syllabus of algebra. So by now you have already seen so many concepts, formulas, application of those formulas. So in this video we would be covering the remaining topics that are a must for a student appearing for any competitive exams. So you must be aware of these topics. So let us begin with the remaining concepts. So the first and foremost concept that I would like to highlight before you is the concept of indices. So we have already covered the basic of this topic. So now we would be looking at the most frequently asked questions from this topic. Okay, so now let's begin. So the first and foremost concept that I would like to put before you is comparison of indices or comparison of exponents. So now what is the underlying principle behind this? So please understand. So if you are asked to compare these two exponents, let's suppose 2 to the power 3 and 2 to the power 7, and if I ask you to make a simple choice or a simple judgment that which of these two given numbers is greater, then you can say within a blink of an eye that yes, 2 to the power 7 will be a greater number. So why does this become easy to compare? Because the base in both the cases is same. So if a base is same and greater than 1, then you can safely conclude that greater the exponent, greater the entire expression. So it is easy to compare exponents when as you can see for yourself, when the base is same and base is greater than 1, that is very easy to compare. Similarly, had the base been less than 1, for example, let's suppose this would have been the case. Then what? Then the situation would have got reversed. So this would no more be true and the sign would have got reversed, because you know that any number between 0 to 1, so if n lies between 0 and 1, so that means it is kind of fraction. So lesser the power, higher the entire expression. So this is the concept. Similarly, you can also compare two exponents if their base is not same but the power itself is same. For example, if I say to you that which of these is greater, is 2 to the power 33 greater or 7 to the power 33 is greater? Here as you can notice that base are different. Base for one is 2 and for the other it is 7, but what is constant here is the exponent itself. So here again you can easily conclude. So you can see for yourself that it is very easy to conclude or compare indices if either bases are same or exponents are same. So many questions have been asked on this concept. So this is known as like comparing the exponents or comparing numbers which are expressed in forms of indices or exponents. So let's take a few examples. So here is the first example before us. So which among these following numbers is the largest? So you can easily notice that neither the base, see, bases are different for all these numbers. So neither the base is same nor the exponent or the power is same. So it is not a straight away case of comparison. So you will have to employ a trick. So what that trick should be? So let's first jot down these numbers. So the numbers are 2 raised to the power half, 3 raised to the power 1 by 3, 4 raised to the power 1 by 4, 6 raised to the power 1 by 6, and 12 raised to the power 1 by 12. Now the problem is the base is not same, neither the power is same. So what can you do? If you notice something, all the powers are fractional. So they have been given for a purpose so that you can get rid of this fractional power. How can you get rid of the fractional power? So let us see. If you get rid of this fractional power, then this actually becomes easier. How does that happen? Let us understand. So look at these fractions: half, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 6 and 1 by 12. So multiply these powers with such a number that the fraction is gone or the power converts into a complete integer. How can you do that? So you take the LCM of these numbers: 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. So what is the LCM of 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12? It's actually 12. So if you are not able to compare these numbers at one go, so why don't you raise them to the power 12 and then compare? What I am trying to say is that if 3 is greater than 2, then obviously 3 to the power 5 will be greater than 2 to the power 5 if the base itself is greater and the numbers are like positive integer. Then even if the exponent is same, greater the base, greater is the expression. So here, though the bases are not same, but we can raise them to same power and still compare them. So I am trying this, or I am doing this so that I can get rid of the power that is expressed in fractional form. So now instead of comparing the given numbers, I would like to compare these numbers after having raised them to the power of 12. So how does this helps me? Let us see. So the numbers now change to, or the numbers that you need to actually compare now changes to 2 to the power 6, because half into 12. So power now transforms to 2 to the power 6. So now you have to compare these numbers. Similarly, 3 to the power 4, 4 to the power 3, 6 to the power 2 and 12 to the power 1. Now these are such numbers that you can easily compute them. You don't have to go for lengthy calculations. You can actually compute their values. So what is 2 to the power 6? So 2 to the power 6 is actually 64. So you can compare these numbers as well. 64. What is 3 to the power 4? 3 to the power 4 is 81. What is 4 cube? 4 cube is again 64. What is 6 square? 6 square is 36. What is 12 to the power 1? It is 12 itself. So which of these numbers is greater? So this 81 is greater. But nobody had asked us to compare 64, 81, 64, 36 and 12. So why did we do so? So that we can go reverse wise and get to the correct answer. So if 81 appears to be correct answer, it means this in this series 3 to the power 4 is the greatest number, or in this series 3 raised to the power 1 by 3 would have been the greatest one. So this is the case of indirectly comparing. That means you transform the exponents first, bring them into comparable format and then compare them. So now let's take another example. So it's almost the same question. So x is actually 2 raised to power half, y is 3 raised to the power 1 by 3 and z is 6 raised to the power 1 by 6, and now we have to compare them. Now you know what to do. You raise them to some power so that the fractional exponent is gotten rid of. So I can raise them to power 6. Why 6? Because 2, 3 and 6. The LCM of 2, 3 and 6 is 6 in fact. So instead of comparing the given numbers, I would like to compare this. Or rather this, because after transforming it now becomes 2 cube, this becomes 3 square, and this now appears to be 6 to the power 1. So 2 cube is 8, 3 square is 9, 6 to the power 1 is how much? 6 to the power 1 is 6. So which of these is the correct order? If you arrange them in correct order, you notice that this is the greatest, or else you can say this is y. This is the transformed case for y, this is the transformed case for x, this is the transformation of z. So from here it is pretty evident that y is greater than x, which itself is greater than z. So y, x, z is the correct sequence. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move to next one. Now this is a bit tricky one, or should I say it appears to be a bit trickier, but underlying principle is still the same. So I'd insist that you pause this video, give it a try yourself, only then you look at the solution. Okay, I hope you must have tried this. Now let's try to solve this together. Now you see, out of these four numbers, the base is same in three cases. The base is 3 here, here also the base is 3, and here also the base is 3. So you can immediately compare these three numbers. So option A, option B, option C, and option D. So base is 3 for option A, B, and D. So they are easily compared. So 3 to the power 3 can be written as 27. So option A can be rewritten as 3 raised to the power 27, because 3 to the power 3 is what? It's 27. Option B, you can write it as it is. Now you can notice that the base is same. So these options, option A and option B, these two are comparable up till now. Now option C, no clue, because the base is not same. It is 33 and not 3. So we leave it as it is as of now, and we move to option D. So what about option D? So option D can be written as 3 raised to the power 9. See, please understand the difference between these two. Here it is 3 raised to power 3, that's why 27. Here it is not raised to power 3, it is 3 cube whole cube. So here it is 3 to the power 9. Now these three are comparable, but the problem lies with option C. Problem lies with option C. We don't know where option C will lie. So let's put option C aside and let's compare these three options first. So the question is, we have to arrange them in ascending order. So ascending order means smallest first and largest at the last. So which of these is smallest? So 3 to the power 9 is smaller than 3 to the power 27, which is smaller than 3 to the power 63. But we are not sure about option C. Option C could lie anywhere. It could lie here, it could lie here in comparison series. It could be lesser than any of the given numbers, or maybe greater than any of the given numbers. We have not yet managed to compare it directly. So let's go for a strategy, an indirect comparison. So what is the crux of such a problem? How can you solve such a problem? By comparing it indirectly. How? Now look at the base. The base here is 33. So 33 to the power 33. What can be said about this? It can be said that this is definitely greater than 27 to the power 33 and less than 81 to the power 33. So why I have chosen the numbers 27 and 81? Because these are powers of 3. So if you can notice that 33 raised to power 33 is greater than 27 to the power 33. So this would actually mean that 33 to the power 33 is greater than this number. And what is this? This is 3 raised to power 99. So from here you can safely see that 3 to the power 99 is less than 3 to the power 30 or 33 to the power 33. So in fact, option C is the greatest one. So you have compared option C indirectly. So option C was not in the same base. It was not in the base of 3. So we compared it with the neighbors or the closest powers of 3. So 33, the closest power of 3 was 27. So I can safely conclude that 33 raised to power 33 must definitely be greater than 27 to the power 33. So if you rewrite or transform 27, it should be rewritten as 3 to the power 3 and then power 33. So effectively speaking, 33 to the power 33 is actually greater than 3 to the power 99. So out of all these three numbers, 33 to the power 33 should be the greatest one. So this is the correct sequence. So if you arrange in ascending order, so this should be on number 1, this should be number 2, this number 3, and this should be the last one or the greatest one on number 4th position. Now let's move forward. Let's take another example. Okay, so now rank the following quantities in order from smallest to biggest. So here again you can see that the bases are not same. Are the bases same? No. Are the exponents same? No. But things would become much easier for you if you notice something. Please notice the choice of exponent. Whosoever have framed this question, in whichever exam this question have been asked, it is, see, questions are not asked to puzzle you or to make your life difficult. Questions are basically asked to select the smarter. Questions are never asked to reject people. Questions are asked to select people who have the right frame of mind, people who are aware of the right tricks. They are actually selected by asking such tricky questions. Now look at the choice of power. So exponents are 120, 72 and 30. So what can you do? Now see, take the HCF of these numbers 120, 72 and 30. What is the HCF? HCF is, it is actually 6. So what does this mean? It means that you can rewrite this as something to the power 6, something to the power 6, something to the power 6, and then try to compare. So this can be written as 2 to the power 20. Now this can be written as 3 to the power 12. And now this can be written as 17 to the power 5. So instead of comparing these big numbers, we can actually afford, or we can indirectly compare these three numbers and we will reach the same answer. So now let's do that. Now let's compare term by term. So what do I mean comparing term by term? So let's compare these two terms first. So 2 raised to power 20 and 3 raised to power 12. So they are still not comparable. So what can we do? So we can again reduce their powers. So look at 20 and 12. What is their HCF? So their HCF is 4. So instead of comparing this, you can compare something to the power 4 and something to the power 4. So what that something should be? This should be 2 to the power 5, because 5 into 4 is what will get you back to 20. And here it should be 3 raised to power 3. So you are comparing 32 raised to power 4 and 27 raised to power 4. So it is easily seen that this 2 raised to power 120 is definitely greater than 3 raised to power 72. So one thing is already established. What is established? That, so it is established from these given comparisons that, so it is what is established, that 2 raised to power 120 is definitely greater than 3 raised to power 72. So let's note down this first. So up till now it is very evident that option 1 is greater than option 2. Now let's compare option 1 with option 3. I mean, we are now comparing 2 raised to power 20 and 17 to the power 5. So what is HCF of these two? It is 5 itself. So you can compare 2 raised to power 4 whole raised to power 5 and 17 to the power 5. So which is greater? This is 16, this is 17, so this is greater. So option 3, we can also conclude that option 3 is greater than option 1. So if you combine these two facts or these two findings which you have just found out, you can easily conclude that option 3 is greater than option 1 and option 1 is already greater than option 2. So this should be the correct sequence: 3, 1, 2. And here we have been asked to arrange from smallest to biggest, so we'll just reverse this order. 2 is less than 1, which is less than 3. So the correct order from smallest to biggest is 2, 1, 3. So 2, 1, 3 option C is the correct option. So now let's move to next pattern of questions. Now let's have a look at this problem. So x raised to power a is equal to y raised to power b is equal to z raised to power c, and y square is equal to xz. So based on this information, these facts, we have to find b, or rather we have to express b in terms of the rest of the variables. So now let's see how to solve these questions. Every question seems to be different than the previous one, but the beauty lies when you read it in terms of patterns, so that the next time you see it, you immediately realize that from where or from which pattern this question has been framed. Each pattern has an underlying concept, and hence each pattern have a different way of solving that question. See, a question can be solved in many given ways, but the idea is that to solve it in the minimum possible time. So that's why we have classified each and every topic in terms of patterns. So we discuss one pattern at a time, so that the next time you look at these kind of questions, the idea is you should go for the easiest way, the least time consuming method. So now let us see the least time consuming method, when it comes to solving these kind of questions. So whenever you see these kind of questions, equate it with some other variable. So x to the power a is equal to y to the power b is equal to z to the power c. This is given to us. So simply equate these to some other variable and try to express all these base variables in terms of that variable that you have just introduced, this k. So what do I mean by this? Now I have introduced or equated all these three indices exponents to another variable equal to k. So from here I would conclude that x can be written as k to the power 1 upon a. Similarly, y can be written as k to the power 1 by b, and z can be written as k to the power 1 upon c. Now come to the second fact. So what is the second fact? Second fact tells us that y square is equal to x into z. So instead of dealing with x, y, z, now you play with k, the variable that you have just introduced. You will reach the answer immediately. So now let's see. It is being told to us that y square is equal to x into z. So now I will not carry forward x, y and z, but I will write powers of k instead. So y is equal to k to the power 1 by b. So this means k to the power 1 by b whole square is equal to x. X is k to the power 1 upon a, and z is k to the power 1 upon c. So this relation must hold. So if this relation must hold, what can we conclude? We can conclude that k raised to power 2 by b, because it is 1 by b whole square, so you multiply this 2 by b. So we have already covered this in the basic video. So k raised to power 2 by b must be equal to k raised to power what? So these two exponents will be now added, k raised to power 1 by a plus 1 by c. So from here what can you conclude? If the base is same, the exponents must also be same. So from here I can conclude that 2 upon b is equal to 1 by a plus 1 by c. So from here if you solve this properly, what do you get? You get that 2 by b is equal to a plus c upon ac. So from here you can conclude that b is equal to 2ac upon a plus c. So this is the correct answer. So our effort will not go waste if you try to grasp the entire topic, or if you try to learn the entire topic in patterns. So we have broken the entire topic, or any given topic for that matter, into patterns for the sake of your convenience. So please try to remember the topic in terms of patterns. Okay, what patterns sir has taught and what kind of questions were associated with that pattern, and also the key or the way, the easiest way to solve that pattern. So now let's move forward. Again a similar question. a raised to power x is equal to b raised to power y is equal to c raised to power z, and b square is given to us as equal to ac, then we have been asked to solve this. So let's see. So a raised to power x is equal to b raised to power y is equal to c raised to power z. So what can be done? Introduce a variable equal to k, so that you can say that a is equal to k raised to power 1 by x, b is equal to k raised to power 1 by y, and c is equal to k raised to power 1 upon z. So after you have got to this stage, then you pick the second expression or the second fact that is given to you. So it is being told to us that b square is equal to a into c. So this is being given to us. Now I will express this in terms of k. So this would mean that k to the power 1 by y whole square must be equal to k to the power 1 upon x plus 1 upon z. If you multiply it properly, you will immediately understand. Okay, let me do it in 2 steps. So from here you can conclude that k to the power 2 by y is equal to k to the power 1 by x plus 1 by z. So from here what can you observe? You can observe that 2 upon y must be equal to 1 upon x plus 1 upon z. So which option is correct? So this is what we have been asked to find. This is what we have been asked to find. So answer must be 2 to the power y, option C. Now let's move to the next one. So you can see here x is equal to y raised to power 1 by a, y is equal to z raised to power 1 by b, and z is equal to x raised to power 1 upon c. So what next? So x is equal to y raised to power 1 upon a, y is equal to z raised to power 1 upon b, and z is equal to x raised to power 1 upon c. And now based on this information we are asked to find the value of a, b, c. Now let's see how to solve this. So if you take log on both sides, so you can conclude from here that log x is equal to 1 by a log y. Similarly from here you can conclude that log y is equal to 1 by b log z, and from here you can conclude that log z is equal to 1 by c log x. So from here you can express a in terms of what? A can be written as log y upon log x. So from here you can conclude that b is equal to log z upon log y, and from here you can conclude that c is equal to log x upon log z. So see, if you are taking a real exam, then obviously you are not going to write all these baby steps, or even if you have reached these steps, you can immediately realize that if you were to multiply a, b and c, terms are going to cancel each other out. So from here it is immediately observable that the product a, b, c will come out to be equal to 1. So if you want to convince yourself, you can actually multiply them and see. You will notice that the terms are actually cancelling each other out. You look at the terms, how they will cancel each other out. So this is a, this is b, and this is what c is. So had you multiplied them, or if you try to multiply them, as you can notice, the terms cancel each other out and you get 1 as the answer. So this is the answer that you will get. Now let's move to next one. So what is given to us? So it is given to us that 3 raised to power x is equal to 4 raised to power y is equal to 12 raised to power z. So to a smart student, which you are, I guess you all are pretty smart, so it will be immediately observed that 12 has been chosen for a purpose. So what is the purpose of choosing these three particular numbers, 3, 4 and 12? The choice is particular because 12 is actually equal to 3 into 4. So that is the purpose of choosing these three numbers, to create such a situation. This is A, this is B, this is actually A into B. So how to solve such questions? Let us see. So you can say that it is given to us that 3 raised to power x is equal to 4 raised to power y is equal to 12 raised to power z. If you take log, then you can conclude that x log 3 must be equal to y log 4, which must be equal to z log 12. Okay. So now let this be equal to k. So from here, what can you conclude? You can conclude that x or log 3 is equal to k by x. This is what can be concluded. Similarly, it can also be concluded that log 4, from this relation here, from this fact, it can be concluded that log 4 can be written as k upon y. Okay. Now the question is, what is z equal to? So if you see, now let's solve this. So z is equal to what? Z is equal to k upon log 12. So now let's solve this. So it means z is equal to k upon log of 12 can be written as 3 into 4. That was the purpose of choosing this number. So this can now be written as k divided by log 3. You know that log a into b is equal to log a plus log b. So I'm using that property here. So if you expand this further, this will come out to be k divided by, now log 3 can be written as k by 3. Log 4 can be written as k by y. So from here it is concluded that z is equal to k divided by this number. So if you take k common, this will be 1 by, so this will be x. So 1 by x plus 1 by y. So this k gets cancelled. So z actually comes out to be x y, because xy will go and become the numerator, xy upon x plus y. So this is the correct answer. Okay. So in such a situation, when you see, you simply take log, you'll reach the correct answer. Now let's move forward. Again, same situation. Now let's see what can be done. So this time I am simply taking log and writing the terms. I'm taking log and straight away I'll write the conclusion. So if you take log, so you can say that log x is equal to a log y. From here you can conclude that log y is equal to b into log z, and this one will help you to conclude that log z is equal to c times log x. Now you have to multiply a, b and c. So from here what can you say? You can say that a is equal to log x upon log y. From here you can conclude that b is equal to log y upon log z. And from this one you can conclude that c is equal to log z upon log x. So if you multiply these three numbers, terms would again cancel each other out. So if you see properly, a into b into c, terms are going to cancel each other out. So log x upon log y into log y upon log z into log z upon log x. So if you notice carefully, terms cancel each other out, and what are you left with? What is the answer? So if the terms cancel each other out, you are left with 1 as the answer. So the value of ABC comes out to be equal to 1. So dear students, this is a very good question. So I would insist that you first try this on your own, because this is a really interesting, it will challenge the bend of your mind. So I guess you must have tried this. So now let's try to solve this together. So if you look at these numbers, so to an observant eye, a few things will become immediately clear. 4, 2 and 128. all these three numbers are powers of 2. Similarly, look at the numbers involved here, 3, 3, 9. They are powers of 3. So something got to do with powers of 2, something got to do with powers of 3. So just by looking at the question, a few things are becoming evidently clear. So now let's proceed how to solve this. So first things first, it is given to us that 4 raised to power x, 2 raised to power y is equal to 128. So as I already noticed that all these three numbers are powers of 2. So they have been given to us so that we can realize this and change them to powers of 2. So let's do that. So as soon as you do this, this comes out to be 2 raised to power 2x. This becomes 2 raised to power y. This is equal to 2 raised to power 7. So from here you can see 2 raised to power 2x plus y is equal to 2 raised to power 7. So from here you can safely conclude that x and y are such real numbers that 2x plus y must be equal to 7. This is what the first equation tells us. So this is the conclusion derived from first equation. Now let's move to the second one. So what does the second equation tells us? The second equation tells us that 3 raised to power 3x into 3 raised to power 2y, which can straight away be written as this, because if it is into, that means the powers can be added, is equal to 9. So 9 can be written as 3 square. So the second equation can be rephrased in this manner. So from here you can also conclude that 3x plus 2y must be equal to 2xy. So here seems the situation that you have got two equations in two variables. So it is easily solvable now. So you have brought it into a mode which is easily solvable. Two equations into two unknowns. So we have been asked to find the value of x plus y. So now let's solve this. Let's get the value of x. Let's get the value of y so that we can find out the value of x and y. So by now we have found out two conclusions. The first conclusion is 2x plus y is equal to 7. And what is the second conclusion? So this is the second conclusion, that 3x plus 2y is equal to 2xy. So this is the second conclusion, 3x plus 2y is equal to 2xy, and based on this we have to find out the value of x plus y. So now let's try to solve this. From the first equation it can be concluded that y can be written as 7 minus 2x. So y can be written as 7 minus 2x. So now I will put this value of y in the second equation. So 3x plus 2 into y. So y can be written as 7 minus 2x. This must be equal to 2xy. So 2 into x into y. So y can again be written as 7 minus 2x. So from here what do you get? You get that 3x plus 14 minus 4x is equal to 14x, 2x into 7. So 14x minus 4x square. So from here what can you conclude? You can conclude that 4x square, if you change the sides, so 4x square, so 14x comes this side 18x, so minus 15x, okay, plus 14 is equal to 0. So you can rewrite 14 fours are 56. So 56, 8 and 7, 56. So you can break this as 4x square minus 8x minus 7x plus 14 is equal to 0. So from here you will get the roots of this quadratic equation. That means two different possible values for x. So let's find out the two different possible values for x. So 4x can be taken as common. So from here you can take 7 as common. So this will become x minus 2 is equal to 0. So from here you can conclude that 4x minus 7 into x minus 2 is equal to 0. So two separate values for x comes out to be equal to, x is either equal to 7 by 4 or equal to 2. So now you have found out x. So based on this value of x, so two possible values of x are, x is either 7 by 4 or it is equal to 2. So based on this you can find out the value of y, because y is equal to 7 minus 2x. So if x is equal to 7 by 4, then y would be equal to what? So y would be equal to 7 minus 2 times of x. So 2 times of 7 by 4. So 7 minus 7 by 2. So y would then be equal to 7 by 2. If x is equal to 2, then y would be equal to what? So y would be equal to 7 minus 2x. So then y would be equal to 3. So in this case the value of x plus y gives you two different answers. So one answer is 7 by 4, that is 3.5, that means almost equal to 1.75, and 7 by 2 is 3.5. So this comes out to be 5.25, and this value is 5. So two separate values are possible for x plus y. One is 5, the other is 5.25. So that's why they are asking you x and y can be equal to. They are not asking you that is equal to, because two possible values are there, one of which is equal to 5. So this is the correct answer. So now let's move to next one. So if 9 raised to power x, 3 raised to power y is equal to 2187, and 2 raised to power 3x, 2 raised to power 2y minus 4 raised to power xy is equal to 0, then we have to find the value of x plus y. Again you notice the numbers 9, 3, 2, 187, all these three numbers are powers of 3. Okay, so 2187 is actually 3 raised to power 7. So again you look here at the choice of numbers, all these are powers of 2. That's why, that is the purpose behind choosing these kind of numbers. So I would insist that now that you have realized that how to solve such pattern of questions, so you know, you have already seen the logic or the trick or the steps that you need to take to solve these kind of questions. So I would insist that you pause this video, give it a try yourself before looking at the solution. So kindly do that. So now let us see how you can solve this one. So I will straight away write, I will assimilate this, convert this in powers of 3, and I'll straight away write what can be concluded. So from here, this equation, you can safely see that 3 to the power 2x into 3 to the power y is equal to 3 to the power 7. So from here it can also be concluded that 3 raised to power 2x plus y is equal to 3 raised to power 7. So from here the first conclusion that you can derive is 2x plus y must be equal to 7. Just like the previous example, it turns out to be just like the previous one. All these are real life questions. These questions have been carefully selected from previous year question paper. So you can realize that one question or one pattern has been asked many a times, have been repeated. So questions are often repeated. So please be very careful. Do not ignore any of the solved example that we are discussing in these videos, because these questions that we are using, most of them have been carefully selected to highlight before you. So these are repeated pattern of questions. So as you can see, so 2x plus y is equal to 7. So this can be concluded from the first equation. So coming to the second one. So from here, if you convert this, what can you conclude? So it can be concluded that 2 raised to power 3x plus 2y must be equal to 4, can be written as 2 square. So from here, this is what you can conclude. So this will be 3x plus 2y is equal to 2xy. So it's just like the previous example. So as we have just now solved, so if you will solve this two equation in two variables, you will get two separate values for x, two separate values for y. You have just solved just like the previous one. So here also you will realize that x plus y comes out to be equal to 5. Now let's have a look at this one. So if m and n are integers such that, okay, then m is equal to what? So as you can see, there are powers of 2 and also powers of 3 involved here. So let's see, let's decode what is given to us. So there are powers of 2, then there are powers of 3. So let's rewrite what is given to us. Root 2 can be written as 2 to the power half. So 2 to the power half into 19. So this whole to the power 19 into 3 to the power 4 into, now 4 square can be written as 2 to the power 4 because 4 itself is 2 square. So I am writing it in simplest possible form. So 9 to the power m. So 9 itself is 3 square. So 9 to the power m can now be written as 3 to the power 2m. Similarly 8 is what? 2 cube. So 8 to the power n can now be written as 2 to the power 3n. So this is what is given to us. So this is given to be equal to, so 3 to the power n. 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4. Hence 16 to the power m can now be written as this. Now fourth root of 64. So fourth root of 64. So 64 is what? 2 to the power 6. So into 2 to the power 6 and its fourth root. So 6 by 4. So now let's rewrite this. So it is given to us that 2 to the power, so half into 19. So 9.5. So plus 4. You add all the powers of 2 together, plus 3n into 3 to the power 4 plus 2m. So here you can see both the bases are 3. So hence you can add their exponents. So this must be equal to 3 to the power n into 2 to the power 4m plus, now what is 6 by 4? 6 by 4 is 1.5. So this is what is given to us. So what can you conclude? You conclude that this exponent, so from here you can conclude two things. So 9.5 plus 4 is what? 13.5. So 13.5 plus 3n must be equal to 4m plus 1.5, comparing both these exponents. And the second thing that you can conclude, that these two powers must be same. The second thing that can be concluded is 4 plus 2m must be equal to n. So now let us find out the value of m. So from here you can see that n can be written as 4 plus 2m. So now substituting this value of n in first equation, I can say that 13.5 plus 3 times of n. Now n can be written as 4 plus 2m. So 4 plus 2m. So this must be equal to 4m plus 1.5. So let's see what it becomes. So if you take this 1.5 this side, it becomes 12. So it looks like that 12 plus 12, 3 into 4, 12 plus 6m is equal to 4m. So I'm writing next step here. So from here you can see that 24 plus 6m is equal to 4m. So from here what can you see? If you bring this 4m this side, 2m is equal to minus 24. So from here you can conclude that m is equal to minus 12. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move forward. Now 4 raised to this series is equal to 0.0625 whole raised to power minus 84. Again a very good question. So based on this, what is the value of x? Now see, 4 can be written as 2 to the power 2. So let's do that first. So I can say that what is given to me is something like this. 4 can be written as 2 square to the power 6 plus 12 plus 18 up till 6x. Now here comes the trickier part, 0.0625. So what is that actually? So this is actually, if you realize carefully, this is 625 by 10000. Why? Because there are 4 digits after decimal. So if you are removing decimal, so you'll have to convert it to fractional forms, followed, so the denominator will be 1 followed by as many digits after decimal, that many zeros. So 0.0625 can now be written as 625 upon this whole to the power minus 84. So this is what is given to us. Okay, so now let's see, let's take this forward. So you can actually take 6 out as common, so this will be 2 to the power 12. I'm taking 6 here common because 6, 12, 18, 24, all these are multiples of 6. So if you take that 6 out, it gets multiplied by 12. So this is actually 2 raised to power 12 whole into 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x. So this is given to be equal to, now 625 is what, 5 to the power 4, and this is what, 10 to the power 4, isn't it? So this is actually equal to this much. If you see, this is 1 by 2 to the power 4. So this means 2 raised to power 12 whole 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x. What I'm trying to say is that 5 by 10 is actually half. So this is half to the power 4 into minus 84. Okay. So this means 2 raised to power 12 into 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x is equal to, half can be written as 2 to the power minus 1. So 2 to the power minus 1 whole to the power 4 into 84 is 336. So this is minus 336. So it means now you can compare both the exponents. So minus minus, this would become plus. So this is actually 2 to the power 336. So now you can compare. You can say that 12 into 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x must be equal to 336, comparing only the powers. So from here I am writing next step here. So it means 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x is equal to 336 divided by 12. So 336 divided by 12 is equal to how much? So 24. So 2, so 96. So this is actually equal to 28. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till what number is equal to 28? So let's see. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till x, sum is actually x into x plus 1. So x into x plus 1 by 2 must be equal to 28. It means x into x plus 1 must be equal to 56. So this is basically 7 into 8. So 7 into 8 is equal to 56, means x must be equal to 7. As you can see, x into x plus 1 is 56. So 7 into 8 is 56. So x must be equal to 7. Now let's move to the next something. This question has been asked at least 2 to 3 times in last 5 years in various competitive exams. So this is such an important question that this has been asked, more than a couple of times. So now let's see how can you solve, or how can you go about cracking this pattern of questions. So if you look carefully, so huge exponents have been given. X to the power 2018, y to the power 2017. So obviously they are not expecting you to actually solve this. So there must be a way out, there must be a shortcut. So let's have a look at that. So this part is equation 1. So this is equation 1. Let me call this equation 1. And this is equation 2. So let's name this equation 2. So if you divide equation 1 by equation 2 or equation 2 by equation 1, so that should be your first step. So anyways, either you divide equation 1 by equation 2 or equation 2 by equation 1. That should be your step 1. So let me divide equation 1 by equation 2. So if you do that, you will see that x square upon y square comes out to be equal to 1 upon 16. So from here you can conclude that x upon y is equal to plus minus 1 by 4. So if you had taken the square root, so from here what can you conclude? You can conclude that y is equal to plus minus 4x. That means y can either be equal to plus 4x or y can be either equal to minus of 4x. So now let's substitute that. So let's, for the sake of simplicity, for the time, because any one option has to be correct, so let me take y is equal to 4x and substitute it here. So now let's do that. So I am taking first equation, and instead of y I would be substituting 4x to see how things turn out to be. So equation 1 tells me that x to the power 2018 into y to the power, so y I am now rewriting. Instead of y I am writing it as 4 to the power x whole to the power 2017. So this is given to me as equal to half. So half can be written as 2 to the power minus 1. Now 4 can also be written as 2 square. So what is given to me is actually x to the power 2018 into 4 can be written as 2 square. So 2 into 2 to the power this much, because 4 is 2 square, and if you take this out of bracket, the power then becomes 2 into 2 to the power this much into x to the power 2017. So this is given to us as equal to 2 to the power minus 1. So let us see. So it is given to us actually that x to the power 2018 plus 2017 into 2 to the power, now what is 2017 into 2? This is 4034. So from here you can see x to the power 4035 is equal to 2 to the power minus 1 divided by 2 to the power 4034. So this is actually 2 to the power minus 1 minus 4034, which is actually equal to 2 to the power minus 4035. So what can you notice? So you can immediately notice that x to the power 4035 is equal to 2 to the power minus 4035. So let's move forward. So now we have seen that x to the power 4035 is actually equal to 2 to the power minus 4035. So this is actually 2 to the power minus 1 to the power 4035, which is nothing but 1 by 2 to the power 4035. So from here it can be concluded that x is equal to half. So if x is equal to half, y was equal to 4x or 4 into half, which is equal to 2. So if x is equal to half and y is equal to 2, so we have been asked to find the value of x square plus y cube. So let's do that. X square plus y cube. So x square is what? 1 by 4. Y cube is what? 8. So 1 by 4 plus 8 is what? So 33 by 4 is the correct answer. Now the question is, what would have been the answer had you taken y is equal to minus 4x? So please try and you will see that the answer is same. So if you are taking real life exam and you have 4 different options, then you can make some choices, that easier choices, because the idea is to reach the correct answer. Okay, now this is a very good question again. So 2b is equal to a plus c and y square is equal to xz or x into z. Then what is the value of the given expression? Now let us see realize something. 2b is equal to a plus c. And look at these exponents. Look at these exponents carefully. Try to be smart. So b minus c. This is b minus c. Look carefully. What can b minus c be written as? So from here you can see that b plus b is equal to a plus c. So from here can't you say that b minus c is equal to a minus b? So b minus c is actually equal to a minus b. These two are same exponents. So now you can realize that. So I can say that it is asked that what is the value of this expression. Instead of x to the power b minus c, now b minus c is actually equal to a minus b. So I can write x to the power a minus b into y to the power c minus a into z to the power a minus b. Now you see x into z is equal to y square. So this is what you have been asked to find. You have been asked to find the value of this expression. So let me take this here. So this expression is actually x z whole to the power a minus b into y to the power c minus a. Now x z is equal to y square. So this is actually y square or y to the power 2 into a minus b into y to the power c minus a. Okay. So now let's do that. So from here you can see this is actually y to the power 2a minus 2b plus c minus a. So this is in fact equal to y to the power a plus c minus 2b. Now a plus c minus 2b is equal to what? This is equal to 0. So from here you can see that a plus c minus 2b is equal to 0. So this is actually equal to y to the power 0, which is equal to 1. Now in exam time, I would suggest you that you can also go for taking some dummy values. What do you mean by dummy values? For example, you could have taken a to be equal to 1, c to be equal to 3, b to be equal to 2. And then you could have chosen this to be anything. For example, you could have chosen y to be equal to 4, x to be equal to 2, z to be equal to 8 and something. So you can take various numerous other strategies. Now coming to this one, k to the power 3 by 2 is 50% bigger than this. So what is the value of k? So two terms are being compared. K to the power 3 by 2 is being compared with k to the power 5 by 4. So what is being said? It is being said that this thing is 50% bigger. So if this is 50% bigger, so this must be equal to 1.5 into this much. So this is what is given to us, and now we have to find the value of k. So let's rewrite this. So it is given to us that k to the power 1.5 is equal to 1.5 into k to the power 1.25. So from here you can conclude that k to the power 1.5 divided by k to the power 1.25 is equal to 1.5. So from here you can see that 1.5 is equal to k to the power 1.5 minus 1.25 or equal to k to the power 0.25. So 1.5 is equal to k to the power 1 by 4, or you can see that 3 by 2 is equal to k to the power 1 by 4. So from here you can see that k is equal to 3 by 2 whole to the power 4, 81 upon 16. Now this is a very brilliant question. So as per my experience, so this is one of the best questions that you can expect from this topic indices. So if you notice something, so 6, 2, 5, 15. So 6 to the power a is equal to 2, 6 to the power b is equal to 15, and 6 to the power q is equal to 15. So we have to express q in terms of a and b. I would insist that you give it a try first, and then if you are not able to crack this pattern, then you should come back to the solution. So first give it a try yourself. See, the entire or this pattern can be cracked. So you have been asked to calculate q or express q in terms of a and b. So it is given to you that 6 to the power q is equal to 15. So your whole focus should be on this 15. How to express 15 in terms of 2, 5 and 6. So if you see carefully, 15 can be written as 30 by 2. So 30 is equal to 6 into 5 and 30 by 2 is equal to this. So 15 can be written as 6 into 5 by 2. So why did I do so? Because the only numbers that have been expressed in terms of components or exponents are 2, 5 and 6 is the base itself. So unless you express 15 using only these three numbers 2, 5 and 6, you won't be able to proceed any further. So the moment you realize that 15 can be rewritten in this way, because this rewriting involves the use of precisely 2, 5 and 6, the only three numbers that are given to us. So now 15, which is given to us as equal to 6q. So this would mean that it is given to us that 6 to the power q, because 15 is 6 to the power q, is equal to 6 to the power 1 into, now 5 can be written as 6 to the power b divided by, now 2 can be written as 6 to the power a. So from here what can you conclude? You can conclude that 6 to the power q is equal to 6 to the power 1 plus b, and since this is division, so power in terms of power it will turn out to be subtraction. So what it means that q must be equal to b minus a plus 1. So this answer is this option is the correct one. So now let's move further. So what is the value of this? What is the value of this expression? Now let us see what is this expression actually equal to. So first expression can be written as 1 divided by a to the power m divided by a to the power n minus 1. Because here the power is minus, so if the power is minus you can write it in fractional form. Similarly, the second expression can be written in this manner. So if you expand this further, what do you get? You will get that this is a to the power n divided by a to the power m minus a to the power n plus a to the power m divided by a to the power n minus a to the power n. Now see something, look at the denominators. These two denominators are made of same terms but of opposite signs. So what to do? Now let me rewrite. So this can be written as a to the power n by a to the power m minus a to the power n. So it would have been way better if both these denominators would have been same. So let's make them same. So the sign would change here. Plus would become minus, and this would then become a to the power m minus a to the power n. So now both the denominators are same, so you can take it commonly. You can say this is equal to minus 1. Now again a good one. So you have to employ same strategy. Whenever you get things like x to the power m minus n, you should better convert it into x to the power m by x to the power n. So this is the strategy that I would like you to follow. So let's do that. Let's expand this first and then we'll see what it comes out to be. So now let's expand this expression. So if you expand this using the same funda that I just told you, writing exponents in fractional form. So let's see what first term can be rewritten as. First term can be rewritten as 1 divided by 1 plus x to the power b upon x to the power a plus x to the power c upon x to the power a. Similarly, second term can be written as 1 by 1 plus x to the power a upon x to the power b plus x to the power c upon x to the power b, and the third term can then be written as 1 upon 1 plus x to the power b upon x to the power c plus x to the power a upon x to the power c. So now this can be simplified further and can be written as, so if you see carefully, this x to the power a will go and become the numerator. So this is x to the power a by x to the power a plus x to the power b plus x to the power c. So this is the first term. The second term would similarly become this, and third term would become x to the power c plus x to the power a plus x to the power b plus x to the power c. So if you add them up, you will see this is x to the power a plus x to the power b plus x to the power c whole divided by x to the power a plus x to the power b plus x to the power c. So this is equal to 1 actually. So this is the correct answer. So now let's see how to solve this. Okay, now see, I will teach you some strategies, some smarter strategies. So as you can see that solving questions of indices actually involve a slightly more amount of time as compared to other questions from algebra, but there is a way out. You always have the power of substitution or putting some dummy values, or the strategy to eliminate options. So what do we mean by that? How can we use here? So we have already solved such questions but solving them require a large amount of time. Now let us use the power of substitution, or use the power of putting dummy values to use. So what do we mean by this? So we have no idea what x is, we have no idea what y is, we have no idea what t is. Still we have to solve this question. So the question or the idea is you choose some dummy values for x, y and t which satisfy the conditions given in the question, and based on those dummy values then you check that which of the given option seems to be the correct one. So let's do that. Here I will use the dummy value of t. I will use t to be equal to let's suppose 2. So I choose t to be equal to 2. So now let's see what x becomes. So x becomes, x is equal to 2 to the power 1 by 2 minus 1. So this is what x becomes. So x becomes 2 to the power 1 by 1. So x is 2. What does y become? So y is given to be equal to 2 to t to the power t by t minus 1. So this is actually 2 to the power 2 by 1. So x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4 when you have chosen the dummy value of t to be equal to 2. Now let us see which of the given option fits the answer. So if x is equal to y, if x is equal to 2, so now I have chosen this dummy values. X is equal to 2, y is equal to 4, and of course t is equal to 2. So which option fits, or which option gives me the correct values? So let us see, is this valid as per these dummy values? Is this valid or not? Is y to the power x, is y to the power x, so y is 4, y to the power x, is this actually equal to x to the power 1 by y? So is this the case? Definitely not. So this is not the correct answer. This cannot be the correct answer. Now let's try to verify this. X, that means 2, y, that means 4. So is 2 to the power 1 by 4, is this equal to 4 to the power 1 by 2? Definitely not. So option B is also not the correct option. Now let's have a look at option C. Is x to the power y, that means is 2 to the power 4 equal to 4 square? That means is 16 equal to 16? Of course yes. So this can be the correct answer. We have not ruled this out. It may be that by chance this appears to be correct, but at least this is not ruled out. Now let's move to the fourth one. Is the fourth option correct? Can the fourth option be the right one? Let's see. So is 2 to the power 4 equal to 4 to the power half? So is 16 equal to 2? Definitely not. So that means 3 options are ruled out, and you have not been able to rule this out. That means this is the only left over option. So this must be the correct option. Now let's have a look at this one. So if 5.55 to the power x is equal to 0.555 to the power y is equal to 1000, then the value of 1 by x minus 1 by y is equal to how much? So let's see. So if you can realize that this number is 10 times of this number, your job will be done. So what is given to us is that 10 into 0.555 whole to the power x is equal to 0.555 whole to the power y is equal to what? 10 cube. So if you take the log, you will get that x into log of this number is equal to y into log of this number is equal to 3, because log 10 will be equal to 1. So all these are bases are 10. So now what? So from here you can see that 1 by x is equal to log of 10 into 0.555 whole divided by 3. Similarly, 1 by y is equal to log of 0.555 by 3. So now 1 by x minus 1 by y is equal to, you can take 3 common. So log of 10 into 0.555 minus log of 0.555. So from here, so log a minus log b can be written as log a upon b. So this will be log of 10 into 0.555 whole divided by 0.555 and then whole divided by 3. So this 0.55, this 0.55 will get cancelled. So this is equal to log of 10 by 3. So log of 10 is 1. So the final answer would be 1 upon 3. Please understand something. If in competitive exams no base for log is given, if no base is given, it has to be assumed to be equal to 10. This is not natural log. So in competitive exams that you would appear for, if base of any log is not mentioned, it has to, unless otherwise mentioned, it has to be assumed to be base 10. So now let's move further.